Hello, welcome to the House of Representatives election night and Senate election nights 2018. Tonight, we have the Democratic Party along with the Republican Party both vying for Senate control of the United States as well as House of Representatives control of the United States of America. This is the first 7 p.m. poll closings that we can give you. In Indiana, we can tell you with their 9 congressional districts, 7 will go to the GOP and 2 will go to the Democrats. In Kentucky, with 6 congressional districts, 5 going to the GOP and 1 going for the Democrats. In South Carolina, with a total of 7 districts, 6 going to the GOP and 1 going to the Democrats. In Virginia, a state Hillary Clinton won in 2016, a state that Barack Obama won in 2008 and 2012, and was deemed a swing state in 2004. Virginia, the Republicans hold a majority in Virginia with their 11 congressional districts, 6 going to the GOP and 5 for the Democrats. In Georgia, 14 congressional districts, 9 going to the GOP and 5 for the Democrats. And in Vermont, with its sole congressional district, and it will go to the Democrats. Out of our Senate projections now, Tim Kaine will go on and win in the Virginia Senate race. And coming out of Vermont, Bernie Sanders, the projected winner in Vermont's Senate race. On the race to 218, the GOP currently has a lead in the congressional districts with 32 districts going for them and 14 for the Democrats. And on the current, the Senate map, there were 42 GOP and 25 Democrats, including Vermont, which Bernie Sanders caucuses with the Democrats. Stand by for the 7:30 p.m. poll closings from a bunch of states. In West Virginia, the congressional districts here, all 3 of them will go to the GOP. Coming out of North Carolina, a swing state in 2008, Barack Obama carried it in 2008, lost it in 2012, and Hillary Clinton lost the state. North Carolina, 13 congressional districts, the Republicans in the majority, 8-5. In Ohio, 16 congressional districts, a state Barack Obama carried twice in 2008 and 2012, 10 districts for the GOP, 6 for the Democrats. And in West Virginia's Senate race, Joe Manchin is currently in the lead over his Republican challenger, Evan Jenkins. However, it is too close to call in West Virginia. In Ohio, Sherrod Brown is currently in a tiny lead over his Republican challenger, Jim Renacci. This is a small lead for Sherrod Brown. In Ohio, this is a Democratic seat. On the current congressional map, 26 Democrats to 53 Republicans. On the current Senate map, no change here, and stand by for the 8 p.m. poll closings. In Oklahoma, 5 congressional districts, all 5 of which will go to the GOP. In Alabama, 7 congressional districts, 1 going to the Democrats. In Alabama, the 1 district has a popular Democratic incumbent. They will re-elect him, and then in all the other districts, they have popular GOP incumbents will all get re-elected. In Mississippi, 4 congressional districts, 3 going to the GOP, 1 for the Democrats. And in Tennessee, 9 congressional districts, 2 of which will go to the Democrats and 7 to the GOP in Tennessee. In Florida, this is a big one. This is a huge swing state in every presidential election and Senate election. In the Florida congressional districts, there are 13 Democrat congressional districts and 14 Republican congressional districts. The GOP has a slight edge in Florida. In Ohio, 16 congressional districts, the Republicans in the lead in Ohio. In Missouri, 8 congressional districts, 6 of which will go to the GOP, 2 to the Democrats. And in Pennsylvania, there is 9 districts that will go to the Democrats and 9 to the Republicans. This is a tied state with that essentially cancel out each other's representation, which means that it will become coming down to other states. So Pennsylvania people kind of like cancelled each other out, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so going over to Maine, there are 2 congressional districts. Maine's 1st congressional districts will go to the Democrats, and the 2nd congressional district going to the GOP. In New Hampshire, 2 congressional districts both going to the Democrats. And in Illinois, a very Democratic state, the Democrats doing very well here, 2-1, 12 districts for them and 6 for the GOP. In Massachusetts, 9 congressional districts, all 9 going to the Democrats. In Rhode Island, 2 congressional districts, both will go to the Democrats. And in Connecticut, another 5 districts for the Democrats. In New Jersey, there are 12 congressional districts there, and the GOP will take 2 and the Democrats will take 10 in New Jersey. In Delaware, only 1 congressional district going to the Democrats. And in Maryland, the most Democratic state in the Union, 8 congressional districts, 7 going to the Democrats, 1 going to the GOP. In Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren will go on to defeat her Republican challenger. This is a Democratic hold. In Rhode Island, Sheldon Whitehouse, the projected winner in Rhode Island. In Connecticut, Chris Murphy will go on for another 6-year term in Connecticut. In New Jersey, Bob Menendez will go on for another 6-year term. In Delaware, no surprise here, Tom Carper, the projected winner in Delaware. In Maryland, Ben Cardin, this is a Democratic hold. Ben Cardin will go on to defeat his Republican challenger in Maryland's Senate race. In Mississippi Senate race, Roger Wicker, the projected winner. And in Mississippi's special election, Cindy Hyde-Smith will go on to serve to fill in Mississippi's special election. And in Maine, Angus King, the independent who caucuses with the Democrats, going on to defeat his Republican challenger. In Tennessee, a very closely watched swing state, Marsha Blackburn, the Republican. Actually, none of them are incumbents because the incumbent is not running. So the GOP have instead put up Marsha Blackburn, who is currently ahead of the Democrat candidate Phil Bredesen. And going over to Missouri, this is another really close race, a nail-biter tonight. It will be one of the most closely watched states. Claire McCaskill's currently behind the Republican challenger, Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley, the challenger, is ahead of Claire McCaskill, the incumbent Democrat. In Pennsylvania, Bob Casey is in the lead over his Republican challenger, Lou Barretta. In Florida, this is another big one that we'll be watching all night. Bill Nelson currently in the lead over his Republican challenger, Rick Scott. On the current congressional district map, there are 111 districts for the GOP and 104 for the Democrats. You can see that the GOP has already begun to fill out a lot of the kind of Trump country, Rust Belt, kind of south of Rust Belt, as well as in the South. The GOP have filled in a lot of these areas. The Democrats doing quite well in the Northeast, some southern districts where they have majorities, and a lot in the Northeast. And on the current Senate map, there are 32 Democrats and 44 Republicans. Stand by for the 8:30 p.m. poll closings. Arkansas's polls have closed. In the Arkansas congressional districts, 4 districts for the GOP, 0 for the Democrats. And taking a look at the congressional district, there is no Senate election there, by the way. No one is up for re-election. There is 115 districts for the GOP and 104 districts for the Democrats. This is a nail-biter that will be going on for hours and hours. On the Senate map, a very similar situation here. The GOP in the lead by a very sizable margin, 44 GOP to 32 Democrats. Stand by for the 9 p.m. poll closings. In Kansas, 4 congressional districts, all 4 will go to the Republicans. In Nebraska, 3 congressional districts, one of them will go to the Democrats. This is from Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. This is a Democratic pickup. In South Dakota, 1 congressional district goes to the Republicans, as well as in Wyoming, 1 congressional district, and in North Dakota with another congressional district. All of those, South Dakota, Wyoming, and North Dakota, are Republican holds. In Louisiana, 6 congressional districts, most will go to the Republicans. However, 1 will go to the Democrats. In Michigan, this is very surprising. There are 14 congressional districts. The Republicans are winning in 8. The Democrats will win in 6. In Texas, 36 congressional districts, 24 going to the GOP, 12 for the Democrats. In Arizona, this is very, very surprising to many of us watching. The Democrats are in the favor in Arizona. 9 congressional districts, 5 going to the Democrats, and 4 going to the GOP in Arizona. In New Mexico, there are 2 districts for the Democrats, 1 southern district going to the GOP in New Mexico. In Colorado, 8 congressional districts, most of them, 7 of which, will go to the Democrats. However, 1 in strong GOP base area will go to the GOP. In Minnesota, there are 3 or 4 Democratic pickups, a lot of Democratic pickups for them tonight in Minnesota. Sorry, there should be 6-2, not 7-1. I'll just point that out. It should be 6-2, not 7-1. But sorry about that. Going over to New York, 27 districts, 17 going to the Democrats, and 7 going to the GOP. The Democrats doing very well in Manhattan and the surrounding areas of New York. In Wisconsin, 8 congressional districts, a tie, essentially cancelling each other out like Pennsylvania. Got 4 going to the Democrats, 4 going to the GOP. In Michigan, Debbie Stabenow will go on for another 6-year term in Michigan's Senate race. In Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar, the projected winner. In Minnesota's special election, Tina Smith goes on for another 6-year term. In New Mexico, Martin Heinrich, the projected winner. In New York, Kristen Gillibrand will go on for another 6-year term in New York. This is a big one to call. West Virginia, Joe Manchin will go on for another 6-year term in West Virginia. In Pennsylvania, another huge call to make. Bob Casey will go on for another 6-year term in Pennsylvania. In Nebraska, no surprise here, Deb Fischer, the projected winner. As well as in Wyoming, 2 states, Nebraska and Wyoming. No surprise for either candidate. John Barrasso will go on for another 6-year term in Wyoming. It's too close to call in Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin ahead of her Republican challenger, Kevin Nicholson. She is currently in the double-digit lead. Going over to Arizona, it is too close to call. Kristen Sinema in the lead over her Republican person, Martha McSally. Al Franken, not Al Franken, but the GOP will not have an incumbent, taking away the incumbent's factor. But Kristen Sinema is in the lead in Arizona. Going over to North Dakota, this is another huge race we'll be watching all night. Heidi Heitkamp is currently in a 0.6% lead over her Republican challenger, Kevin Cramer. Taking a look at the congressional districts, 166 Democrats to 181 Republicans, we can see that the GOP has pretty much maintained a clean sweep across around these areas, across the South, in parts of Florida, across the South, going up here along to the Red Wall, solid GOP areas, and this is really kind of not great news for the Democrats. However, they might make it up in the California cities. Maybe we just simply don't know yet. But let's get on with our Senate map, which has 39 Democrats and 47 Republicans. Stand by for 10 p.m. poll closings. We have Montana with 1 congressional district will go to the GOP. In Utah, 4 congressional districts going to the GOP. In Nevada, 3 districts for the Democrats, 1 for the Republicans. The Democrats are doing very well in Las Vegas and the surrounding areas. The Republicans doing very well in northern Nevada. And going over to Iowa, another state where essentially it's cancelled out. 2 districts for the Democrats, 2 districts for the Republicans in Iowa. In Utah, Mitt Romney will go on for another 6-year term in Utah. And in Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin, the projected winner, previously too close to call. In Montana, it is too close to call, but this is a match between John Tester, the Democratic incumbent, and Matt Rosendale, the Republican challenger. Going over to Nevada, it is also too close to call. Jackie Rosen, the Democratic challenger, ahead of the Republican incumbent, Dean Heller. Taking a look at the congressional map, we can see once again where the GOP is doing very well across many of these areas, across this kind of Midwest kind of area, across the South, then across the Red Wall, parts of the Midwest around here, they're doing very well. However, we can expect that in California and other Western Coast states, they might not do as well. Going over to the Senate map, there is 39 Democrats and 47 Republicans. Stand by for the 11 p.m. poll closings. We have a major projection right now. In the House of Representatives, the Democrats will take control of the U.S. House of Representatives. They have gotten enough representatives from the Western Coast states to put them over the top of the magic number of 218 to get them over the top, going over to Idaho. 2 districts, both going to the GOP. And in Washington, 10 districts, 7 going to the Democrats, 3 to the GOP. In Oregon, 5 districts, 4 going to the Democrats, 1 going to the GOP. The GOP district is in Eastern Oregon. In Hawaii, 2 congressional districts will go to the Democrats. And this is the one that put them over the top. California, with their 53 congressional districts, 45 districts going to the Democrats, only 8 to the Republicans. That puts them over the top. And even more wins for the Democrats in California. Dianne Feinstein will go on for another 6-year term. Same thing in Washington for Washington's Maria Cantwell. She will go on for another 6-year term. In Hawaii, Mazie Hirono, the projected winner in Hawaii's Senate race. And this is a huge projection right now. Florida, Bill Nelson, the projected winner in the Florida Senate race. This is a big win for the Democrats and Bill Nelson. Taking a look at the race to 51, the Democrats are behind with 43 Senate seats to the Republicans' 47. And on the congressional districts, there are 230 Democrats and 203 Republicans, however, expected to be 204 when they hold Alaska. We'll call that in about 1 hour and 58 minutes. But just to tell you where the Democrats made up their losses in the Midwest was in the California cities of Los Angeles, San Francisco. Those are the 2 main ones. In California, they won so many more districts than the Republicans. However, the Republicans were able to win pretty much all across this area, all across Missouri, most of Indiana and Ohio, and western Pennsylvania. They were also able to win in North Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Utah, some of Colorado. That they've been winning a lot, but they have not been able to put them over the top because Democrats made that up in the California cities. But now we're going to go over to our 11:30 p.m. poll closings. Not poll closings, state calls from Texas and Nevada. In Texas, Ted Cruz, the Republican, will go on for another 6-year term, defeating Beto O'Rourke. And in Nevada, Jackie Rosen, the projected winner in Nevada's Senate race. she will defeat the incumbent Republican Dean Heller. Taking a look at the race to 51, there are 44 Democrats and 48 Republicans. And on the congressional map, no change here, so we'll go on for the 1 a.m. poll closings. In Alaska, just one congressional district there, but in Montana, this is a big one that we're calling John Tester the projected winner in Montana. In Arizona, Kristen Sinema will go on for another 6-year term. In Ohio, Sherrod Brown, the projected winner in Ohio. Taking a look at the race to 51, there are 44 Democrats and 48 Republicans. And on the current congressional map, no change here. Let's go on to our 5 a.m. state calls. This has gone into the next day for these 3 states. And we can now project, we have enough information to project that the Senate will be won by the GOP. The GOP will take control of the Senate. That comes out of our call. Indiana doesn't help them. But what puts them over the top is Tennessee with Marsha Blackburn, the projected winner. And this is a flip, a GOP flip in North Dakota. Kevin Cramer, the projected winner in North Dakota. He will defeat the incumbent Democrat, Heidi Heitkamp. He will defeat the incumbent Democrat, Heidi Heitkamp. Taking a look at the race to 51, there are 50 Republicans and 49 Democrats. And taking a look at the congressional districts, there's no change here. Let's go on. This is going into the next day for Missouri. This is a big call to make out of Missouri, but we're calling it for Claire McCaskill. She leads at the current stand by just a couple hundred votes, but she wins in Missouri, certified by the Secretary of State. Claire McCaskill wins in Missouri, which means that, oh look, no one wins the Senate. However, the GOP will take control of the Senate because of Mike Pence being the tie-breaking vote. As we can see, that the Democratic pickups were in Nevada with Jackie Rosen and Arizona with Kristen Sinema, and there was a GOP pickup in North Dakota. So essentially, North Dakota cancels out Arizona, so that means it's still the same 51-49. And then Nevada puts the Democrats at 50. So the Democrats pick up a net of 1 if you cancel out North Dakota and Arizona. But anyway, that's it. And for the final congressional map, that was such a long video, probably like half an hour, but I really don't know. Anyway, if you've made it to the end, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. I haven't published in a while. I was very, very busy, so that's why I haven't been publishing, and I won't publish quite a lot for the next couple days, maybe 2 more weeks. I won't publish very much, maybe just twice a week or something. I'm really, really busy, but I just tried to get this out. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Till next time, fun election predictions. Good night.